All right, guys, we're talking about Undertone. Was it overwhelming, underwhelming, or did it hit just right? All right, guys, let's crack into this review. And at the end of the video, we'll make sure we cover some spoilers, and I'll give you a warning before we dive into that. So Undertone. Okay, it's done by a guy named Ian Tuason. I'll pull it up right here. He directed this. This is his feature film directorial debut. So what that means is he's done a few short films prior to this. We'll pull him up right here on IMDb. So he's done a few of these shorts that he was known for, but Undertone is his first ever, and he's pulling it off on a $500,000 budget. $500,000 for your first ever film. I want to say it's runtime a little over 90 minutes, so we'll call it just strictly an hour-and-a-half film. First ever full feature-length film, pulling it off at $500,000. If I had to judge the film just off of it being his first feature-length film, and the budget of $500,000, it nails it. There's room for improvement, but damn good start, buddy. But I gotta play both sides here. I gotta review it as just a film and let you guys know how kind of maybe underwhelmed in some sections and then met expectations in others. But if we're just looking at the budget and his first time doing it, I've seen way worse from way bigger companies. So here's our female lead, Nina Kiri. She's fantastic in this. This is pretty much the only character you're going to see. You're going to hear multiple other characters. Her co-host, I believe, was in the UK, England, London. I want to say it was London now that I think of it. And you'll hear him through the podcast or phone calls. You hear her boyfriend one other time. She never leaves this house. It's all filmed in this house. She does leave at one time, but you don't see where she goes. She comes back. So all the filming's done in this house. She has a mom upstairs in a bedroom. And I want to say this is her mother's house. This is not her house. So she's staying there. Her mom's on hospice. She's taking care of her. Mom doesn't want to eat or drink, communicate, nothing. Just laying there with her eyes closed, barely breathing. And she's just waiting for her to take her dying breath so that she can move on in her life. The best way I could describe this film to you guys, if you've seen Paranormal Activity, this is how I'm gonna reference that to kind of mirror this, because I feel that it took a lot of inspiration and gave me a modern vibe of a podcast take on a Paranormal Activity style film. So they host a podcast called The Undertone. So Nina here is putting on like a one-man show for the acting for this whole film. Nobody else is on-screen acting. You get, like I said, her co-host that's just auditorially acting. You just hear him, and he's great too. So the podcast they run is the Undertone podcast. This podcast seems to cover creepy stories, myths, paranormal, all type of just a creepy podcast. So the co-host, he gets sent an email that is very weird. He can't find out who sent it to him. It's like anonymous. He thinks it could be a virus, but he decides to open it anyways because screw it, right? It has 10 parts, 10-part audio clips. The movie's going to slowly progress through all of these 10 parts. As they listen to the audio clips, similar to Paranormal Activity, it gets creepier. Just like Paranormal Activity, each night you see a recording of what happened. Maybe the door barely moves. And then by like night 5, the door's slamming. You know, it's like a slow progression. That's how I felt with Undertone. But it can be underwhelming and a slower burn than we got with Paranormal Activity. I feel like Paranormal Activity really picks up the pace, keeps you scared longer, gets you to the scares quicker, and has a lot more jumps to it. This didn't have any jump scares. This didn't do anything too fantastic, but very eerily, slowly creep you out. And I feel like it only shined in the last 30 minutes. And I don't want to give too many spoilers away until we get to the spoiler section. But that's the setup for this. They're just going to go through, listen to each one of these. And what they're listening to, trust me, this is not a spoiler. So what they're listening to with these 10 clips is you hear an audio recording of 2 other characters. It's a male and a female. The male thinks that the female talks in her sleep. The female's name is Jessup. She's like, Jessup, you're talking in your sleep at night. We gotta record this. So he sets up an audio recording. And these are the 10 clips from 10 different incidents throughout that, and it slowly progresses. Nice here as we get with the podcast is our main lead here, Nina Kiri. She does a great job of acting like, I don't believe in this, I don't care. And then her co-host is like, oh, it's real, it's real. So you get that like kind of good cop, bad cop when it comes to like creepy stuff, where one's fully wanting to believe, the other one's trying to just come up with reasonable explanations. And then eventually they just slowly start to realize that this is demonic as hell, creepy as hell. But by then, as a viewer, nothing too much is happening. It's all done through audio. This is definitely going to benefit from a theater experience, or wear headphones when you watch it at home, or have a crazy sound system. I feel like people that watch this on their TV when this comes out in a few months to rent or whatever it's going to come to. I don't think it's going to land as hard as it should because it is a more audio than it is visual experience. Paranormal Activity, however, was all visual. You were sucked in, wondering, oh my God, what was that? Was that a piece of dust in the distance that moved? Is there a ghost? Oh, did the door move an inch? Oh, it slammed. Like, you know, it was like dragging you into your screen to be invested if you fully allowed it to captivate you. This film is more grabbing your senses of hearing. So like you're just sitting there in the theater and you can honestly close your eyes and get a better experience, because where this film lacks is it pans the camera around while she's talking in the dining room on her podcast, and it'll just pan into like dark corners, and you're like, oh my God, something's gonna be there. Something's gonna be there. And every night they film this, nothing ever ends up really being there, and you want something to be there because we've seen it in movies, you know, something's in the dark, right? Eventually it's gonna add up to something. I don't know. You're waiting for like her mom to be there, or a ghost, or maybe a door to slam, and we don't ever get that, and that kind of disappoints me. In the last 30 minutes, we start to get a little more action in the sense of horror, but this stays very grounded, very creepy. I'd be lying if I said it didn't creep me out, but truthfully did not scare me. This film didn't scare me, but I felt creeped out, specifically the last 30 minutes. A couple different times in that last half hour that I got the chills, like kind of the goosebumps. So it did its job on like, ooh, you know, like giving me the creeps and making me feel uneasy like she probably felt as a character. So it nails it there, but it doesn't fully nail the full 90-minute film like it should. So it nails the creepiness, doesn't quite get there fast enough for me. It took an hour to build it out. There might have been one small creepy scene in that first hour, and then it's just nothing. I just felt like I was like, come on. Like, I really wanted this film to scare me. So I'm watching it, like trying to get fully invested, fully focused. I was really pushing it myself to get scared in this and get immersed into the story. And it really didn't hit till those last 30 minutes. And it only left me with a creepy, unsettling vibe and not a scared shitless vibe like it was described to be. Which is still, it's not a bad thing, right? If the film creeped me out, that means the film worked in some degree for me, and it might work better or worse for you. But the director's first feature film on a $500,000 budget, if he was here right now, firm handshakes. Firm fucking handshakes. He does a great job at this. There's stuff I'd like to change, and we'll talk about that in the spoiler section coming up. All right, guys, we're going to crack into some spoilers, so spoiler alert, we're going forward with it. I don't know how you guys felt about it. I was really digging how dark the movie was, but was it too dark? The film stayed dark the whole time. I feel like we never got levity, right, guys? Let's talk about this. The mom's on hospice. She's all depressed. She gets pregnant. She doesn't want to have the kid. We're listening to a podcast show about a possession / like people killing babies and like demonic stuff. It's just dark the whole time, and I feel like we never got scared enough to really let out some levity. And there was none. And I don't want humor in this, but I mean, like, it's just such a buildup, but you never really get a sense of release. And I think that's why I left the theater feeling creeped out and kind of just like, just felt like evil sense of darkness over you, which is maybe what the film wanted, right? And it nails there. But I never get scared. I never really jump out of my chair. Actually, I don't even say I never did jump at all. And there was moments where I'm like, can we get this? Like, let's pick this up. Like, in the end, we're just getting like the glass bulb shattering, the pictures on the walls. Like, that was cool and all, but I know he's doing this on a $500,000 budget, but I really think just slam a door. Even earlier in the film, like when she's upstairs checking on her mom right after her podcast a few different times, where you're kind of like creeped out because you think you hear some, or the lights upstairs flashing. That's cool. Let's get a build up to that. But maybe on like the second or third night she's filming this podcast, and she's up there checking on mom, slam the fucking door on us. That ain't gonna raise your budget. I'll sit that back there with a straining pult myself, bud. You know what I mean? I don't need CGI demons and insidious shit going on. I really don't think this film needed that. That would have ruined that, regardless of the budget. I think he stays good with the less is more Paranormal Activity approach of just practicality here. But slam a door. Let's get the mom doing a little bit more at the end there. I know when it cuts fully to black and you hear the struggle between her and her mom, and you assume there's a death or they both die. That was cool. I'm all for the less is more ending, similar to Paranormal Activity, where they go downstairs and you just hear them both like get into a struggle and die. Mika and I can't remember the other one, but the whole like she just keeps repeating the demon's name and the demon. Like I said, there's a lot of good stuff. I just feel that it should have held on to more intense, horrific scenes in the ending. There's zero gore in this, and that's fine, but we could have got more with the mom. Just a little bit of hair and makeup, make her look creepy, have her standing, doing more. Even during the podcast, I would have liked to seen her hiding back in the shadows and skulking and just being creepy and horrific. It would have been great. He was so close to making this truly special, and I think we just missed the mark on the scare factor. All right, maybe some people that are easily scared are gonna be like, "You're bullshitting. I was shaking the whole time." Hey, that's great. It didn't hit that good with me, and I get scared decently easy. I'm in like the middle of the road category here, and it didn't hit as hard as I think it should have. So for me, it left me a little underwhelmed leaving the theater. I mean, I was creeped out, but I wasn't ever quite scared, and I think it took too long to get to that point. But giving him props on the budget and being his first directorial debut feature-length film, all for it. Definitely worth a watch. He's doing good. I think he's got a great career ahead of him if he stays doing this grounded horror approach. But this just doesn't scratch the itch. It's just not the picture that was painted to be. Everyone's saying it's the scariest movie of the year, and then now they're trying to say scariest movie of all time. Overhyped. Definitely overhyped. Is it worth a watch? Yeah, but you got to have good audio. So when it comes to the TV, I think no one's going to really appreciate this when it comes to streaming. It's not going to hit as hard. So I don't know. Get to the theater if you really want to check it out and figure it out if it's for you. But to me, it's not a race to the theater, but it is worth a watch type of film. You got to have good audio though. So whether you're seeing this at home or you're seeing this in the theater, make sure that stuff's cranked up to 11 and get fully focused and immersed, and let me know your thoughts. So like, comment, subscribe for more movie news and movie reviews, and we'll see you on the next one.